There's a different kind of ache that doesn't come from losing something. It comes from knowing slowly, quietly, that you might. Not because of betrayal, not because of distance, not even because the feeling isn't mutual, but because of timing. And timing has no mercy. There's someone. I won't say much about her. Not because there isn't much to say, but because some things feel more real when they're left slightly out of focus. It's like trying to describe a dream too clearly and watching it fall apart in your hands. But she exists in my life in a way that's hard to ignore. Not loudly, not dramatically, just consistently. In conversations that linger a little longer than they need to. In questions that sound casual, but carry weight if you sit with them. In the way certain topics keep finding their way back into the room, no matter where the conversation starts. The future, for example, it shows up often, not announced, not declared, just placed gently on the table, like something we're both pretending not to examine too closely. Questions about direction, about plans, about what comes next. The kind of questions that don't demand answers, but don't let you forget that answers will eventually be needed. And the strange thing is, I think I understand what's being said. Not the words, the space between them. There's a language people speak when they're trying not to rush you, but also can't afford to wait forever. A language built on hints, on timing, on patience that has an expiration date. And I hear it, clearly, maybe too clearly. She moves differently. There's a kind of certainty in her life that I recognize immediately, because I don't have it. She knows where she's going, or at least, she walks like someone who has already chosen a direction and made peace with it. There's structure there, momentum. Things are unfolding for her in a way that makes sense. The next step leads to another step, and another. It's not perfect, but it's moving. I, on the other hand, I feel like I'm still standing at the edge of something I haven't named yet, still trying to figure out what the first step even looks like. Some days feel like progress, most feel like preparation for something that hasn't arrived. And that difference between someone in motion and someone still searching creates a kind of quiet tension, not spoken, but felt. Because eventually life starts asking practical questions, not emotional ones, not philosophical ones, practical ones. The kind that don't care how deeply you feel about someone. The kind that don't make space for potential, only reality. And reality has structure. It has expectations, roles, timelines. Especially where I come from. There's a way things are supposed to happen, a way things are meant to be held together. And some responsibilities don't arrive gradually. They arrive all at once, fully formed, waiting. So you find yourself in this strange position, where something meaningful is within reach, but your hands don't feel ready to hold it. Not yet. Maybe not soon enough. And that's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Not the heartbreak of losing someone, but the slow realization that you might lose them, because you're not in a position to choose them properly. Because wanting someone and being ready for them are not the same thing. And the gap between those two things, that's where the ache lives. You start noticing time differently. Not in years, in moments, in conversations, in the way certain topics come up more frequently, in the way pauses get longer, in the way laughter still exists, but carries something underneath it now. Something unspoken. You tell yourself you're being responsible, that you're doing the right thing by not rushing into something you can't sustain. That building properly matters. That foundations take time. And all of that is true. But truth doesn't always make things easier. Sometimes it just makes them heavier, because now you don't even have denial to hide behind. There's also a kind of quiet pressure that comes with being expected to provide direction, to be the one who says, "This is where we're going," even when you're still figuring out where you are, even when your own map feels unfinished. And that weight, it doesn't always show on the outside, but it's there, in the hesitation, in the careful wording, in the way you measure your own life against what it's supposed to be at that current time. And then there's the part no one really admits out loud, the fear that someone else might be ready in the ways you're not yet, stable in the ways you're still becoming, certain in the ways you're still questioning. And life has a way of rewarding readiness, not intention, not potential. So you find yourself caught in this quiet contradiction, hoping time slows down, while also knowing it won't, trying to build faster, while knowing some things can't be rushed, wanting to hold on, while preparing yourself, slowly, for the possibility that you might have to let go. And still, you show up, you talk, you listen, you stay present in something that hasn't been defined, because some connections are worth experiencing, even if they don't arrive at the place you imagined, even if they pass through your life. Instead of settling in it, there's a kind of maturity in recognizing that, in understanding that not every almost is a failure, not every unfinished story is wasted. Some people arrive in your life, not to stay, but to reveal something to you, about timing, about yourself, about what you want, and what it will require from you when it finally arrives again. And maybe that's the hardest part. Not losing the person, but meeting them, before you become the version of yourself that could keep them. So we sit with it. We carry both things at once, the hope that things might still align, and the understanding that they might not. Because this stage of life, it doesn't just test your ambition, it tests your patience, your restraint, your ability to let something be incomplete without forcing it into something it's not ready to become. And if there's any comfort in all of this, it's knowing that this isn't a solitary experience. There are people everywhere, sitting across from someone they care about deeply, laughing, talking, sharing moments, while quietly wondering, if I had met you just a little later, would this have worked? Maybe that question doesn't have an answer. Maybe it doesn't need one. Maybe it's just part of growing into the life you're still building. So for now, keep going. Keep trying to become someone who can hold what they ask for. Keep trusting that what is meant for you will meet you at the right version of yourself. Not the rushed one, not the incomplete one, but the one that's ready. And until then, learn to live with the quiet ache of almost. So, wherever you are right now, driving, lying awake, or just sitting with your thoughts, I'm glad our paths crossed for a little while. Take care of your mind, guard your heart, and don't rush the questions that take a lifetime to answer. Until next time, peace be with you.